live on Instagram?
And yes,
All
we
right.
are. Yep.
So what's up? What's up, Blueprint family? How y'all doing tonight? Thank you all for joining us. And as always, every Friday is Marriage Fit Friday for us. So what that means is that we give you some information on becoming marriage fit or what or similar topics of that nature. So with that being said, please bear with us as well because we're doing some upgrades with our internet.
Yeah.
The YouTube viewers who are out there,
Mhm.
primarily, I believe.
Yeah. Because it's not. It hasn't been. I mean, it is, but it goes in and out. Like as we have like more and more. What we're finding out, because we're new to all of this, so what we're finding out is as more and more people are joining our streams, which is great. We got to update our internet because the capacity is like kind of in a way taking down the resolution on our YouTube, which is fine because we're working on it, and then we're going to upgrade as they're upgrading our internet, everything should work over time. So hopefully Monday, for our show Monday, everything's back normal. Even our music is acting a little weird again, but I love the new. Yep, it looks pretty good up there though. So even though we love the participation, we're loving everybody joining in and all the new views and stuff we're getting. So bear with us as we make sure things are right for y'all, as y'all join on.
Yep. And thank you all.
Yeah.
And as always, thank you all for joining us. Instagram viewers, thank you all. Our numbers are quickly approaching 3,000 subscribers.
I gotta do some special.
Yep. And then also too, as well, if you all can please join in on our YouTube website.
Yeah.
Where you will be able to see the letter and or question that we have posted up there with some additional information. So you get to see that graphic and then also see us in HD, the video and also the audio as well.
Yeah.
We got a comment from Instagram viewer. Yo, what's up, man? How y'all doing?
So glad you guys are talking back and super excited for everybody that continuously joins in with us as we go on every day with some great topics. So
where's it at?
Ready to get in? Yep, right there.
Oh, wait. There you go. All right. So yeah, let's we're here to have fun. So, talk about some great topics that a lot of people probably want to know more about. And in this topic tonight, the subject is ready. Can you meet the right person? What is it? Can you meet the right person before you are ready for a relationship?
Yes. So
of course
this is
you
interesting. Yeah, this is an interesting question, right? From this lady who is basically trying to figure out why in the world does this happen to her. So you ready to dig on it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So the subject was ready for a relationship or not? ? Why do men tell a woman that she is great and everything he would want, but he doesn't want anything serious at that period of his life? Is it true or just a lie to help the woman feel better about rejection? I always like questions like this because that's the cool thing about our channel. It allows a man to speak on the man perspective and give understanding and clarification. And then also from a woman, what you could do about it and how, you can end up maybe progressing the relationship and getting it working out or whatever. So we're going to dig on to this. What you thinking so far?
I mean, as far as the question goes, she wants to know, why do men do that? As far as, what is she saying? Is it true?
Yeah.
Why do men tell a woman that she is great and everything he would want, but he doesn't want anything serious? It would be best to figure out her age and the guy's age as well, because normally younger guys, we do this a lot often, especially if you're hip to the game of telling the truth and understanding what karma is. So one thing that we don't want, we want the convenience and access of casual sex. We do. But another thing that's going on as well is that we understand karma and we don't want to lie to you. So that is one of the reasons why young guys, or either, men who are not looking for anything in particular, may do these type of things and tell you that, you're a great, wonderful person and everything, but I'm not really looking for a relationship. They're being honest.
Yeah.
They're being honest with you up front. So therefore, anything that happens afterward you've been given a fair warning. So so that also too, it doesn't rest on their consciousness as something like, oh, I'm gaming her, or I'm lying to her, like I want to be in a relationship with her. He's giving you a fair warning. So anything that you do afterwards, you have to be responsible for that. You have to take accountability for that as well, because once you're being told up front what the situation is, then you have to own the situation or whatever follows afterwards. So if you decide to be a friends with benefits to that man, then that's on you. Your feelings are going to get entangled in that situation. That's on you. So you have to understand what you're getting yourself into first before you make next steps. So you can take that as a warning. You should really take that as a warning, because if really your intentions are to be in a relationship and want to be with somebody in the long run, ladies, I would advise you all not to deal with men that do these things to you, or boys that do these things to you, because you're going to get your feelings hurt in the long run, and this is going to make you all hard and cold, that you're dealing with this person only for casual sex, and it's going absolutely nowhere, because you will eventually want to be in a relationship with this guy. Your feelings are going to be greatly involved, but your world would be tumbling and crashing down if you saw this guy with someone else. So you have to understand what you're getting yourself into. And if that doesn't fit your lifestyle, those type of things that are going on as far as friends with benefits, then you need to really consider not even entertaining people like that. Don't entertain men like that.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of women may do this. Yes, they do.
I think it's more common now
That women
more
do
than
this.
ever. Yeah, because of
The fear of rejection. I think that's what it's for.
Yeah, I think, and you know what? To be honest, disclaimer, it's important really to remember that everyone is different. So there isn't one answer that's gonna apply for every situation, especially in something like this where you kind of got to get specific in a way and know a little more details about when this came up, why it's coming up, because honestly, sometimes a guy could meet you and think that you're great and all, but they're just personally having their own things that we can go through, I guess, about why maybe a guy might not want to be with you. But it could work out, like, especially if you consider some of the things that we're gonna give as options to do in this situation, right? Because it could, I mean, it never really matters. You never really know.
It could work out if the intentions are aligned to.
Yeah.
So it doesn't align if the guy's from the beginning telling you, you're great and all, but I'm not looking for a relationship.
Yeah.
Your intentions are not going to align there.
That's
and
true.
It's not. It's bottom line. It's not.
Yeah.
It's different.
Especially not at that moment in time.
No, not in that moment in time. But but if not, then when? So are you going to stick around? Will you commit, 5 years of trying to figure this man out and see, will he commit to you? Is that the smart thing to do?
No, certainly not 5 years.
I mean, or either a year or two. This guy's telling you from gate that this relationship is not going anywhere. You're a nice person and all. He's telling you this because he doesn't want to hurt your feelings.
Possibly, yeah.
I mean,
or it could be, other reasonings too. But I definitely think, that maybe I'd like the honesty and the transparency of that for sure. But I think in this day and age too, some guys, they may want to have a relationship, but just not be in the right place for it. So
that's a possibility too, but
right. And so I mean, that in a chance like that, would it be worth the woman to continue to have a casual friendship or like some type of casual relationship to where it could possibly grow? Or is that like not? For example, I think about us. We started off as friends, we dated, especially because we were young in college. So, freshman year in college, young, me dating and stuff. So we had the understanding, though we were young and we weren't quite ready for a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But then as we got to know each other, we spent more time with each other. We, had fun with each other, created moments and experiences with each other that deepened the bond, and also created an understanding where I knew where you were at in this point of your life. And I understood that as a woman, of course, I'm just giving a woman's perspective, but I understood that as a woman, I was willing to witness your growth and be there by you as that was happening, and still,
Yeah, but the key part that you're missing,
yeah.
the key part that's missing from what we did and versus what this question is asking is the intention. The
Yeah,
intention isn't
because you
lining
never
up.
told me that though. Yeah,
Right. The
that's true.
intention
Yeah.
isn't lining up for what what this woman is talking about.
Yeah.
She wants to know why do men tell her that she's great and all, but they're not serious about a relationship. It's different if he's saying that I'm looking for a wife and I have intentions on getting married, but you're great and all, but I don't want to be in a relationship with you. That's different. That means something that he's recognizing in her that he doesn't like, or something that she's not doing to give off wife vibes to
Maybe
him.
even not just him being in the position to be I'm just
Well,
speculating here.
I mean,
Maybe
yeah,
not.
in these situations where she's asking this question, why men are telling her this is one, yes, and I'm guessing that she's in her early 20s or what have you. Usually, men at that young age, they're not in position to be providers, and that's the number one thing that I believe that maybe not the number one thing, but that is one of the big reasons why these guys are not committing to her, or that's the reason why guys say these things to her, is because they're not a provider for her, meaning that they don't have enough money to raise a family, to help pay for mortgages and car notes and things like that.
They're
Of that
trying to get
nature.
established.
Right. Because I believe that you should be established in your life before you take on a family, or either you both are going to be committed on working together to help finance that family together.
Yeah.
It takes now in these times, it takes a group effort in order to raise a home.
Yeah.
If you yourself don't bring home a 2-person income, that second income has to come from somewhere.
Right.
So that's what I believe, that's what's going on with her situation. These guys are not trying to commit, or that guy's not trying to commit to her. She's a nice person. That's what they're telling her. But they themselves, one, are not ready for commitment because of them not being able to financially support a family. Or two, they're still trying to figure out life themselves and are entertaining multiple women.
And in that sense, if that is the case, would it not be it wouldn't be advisable for a woman to, even if she sees like the potential, because I mean, think about it, the fact that maybe, say for example, the guy does like her and he would like to be with her, but it just, again, like you're saying, it's not working out. Would it be in his best interest to maybe even consider still building on a friendship or some type of casual relationship, so that then it could grow and blossom? Because of course, I'm not the biggest, I agree, a man should 100% be ready to take on the commitment, but I'm also more understanding and empathetic to how hard that could be, and the understanding that the help of a woman could really help position a man to get to the place of mental maturity, for one, and then also to possibly, if she's assisting him with building up his career and stuff, which I always recommend too, just for the benefit of the family as a whole. But in general, just being able to assist him with that, you don't think that would possibly help him get ready for a relationship? Like, well, can you not meet the right person beforehand and then they help position you to be ready? Or do you have to fully be ready?
Yeah, that's a digression on the question, what she's saying. Yeah. I mean, anybody who has the intention has to be there in a line that you really want to be in a relationship to build. But for her situation, the intention isn't there. The guy's telling her that he don't want any relationships at all. So that's up to her discretion, if whether she wants to keep going with this guy, be friends with him, be casual partners with him, or what have you. But she's going to have to own anything that happens afterwards, as well as he does, if he continues to casually have sex with this woman, or what have you. So that the intention, this is all have to do with intention. Now, what are her intentions? She evidently she wants a relationship. One person can't make a relationship work on its own. If someone's telling you, hey, I just want to be friends with benefits, and you're like, well, I want to be in a relationship, and then they keep messing with each other, it's not, more than likely is not going to work out, because at the same token, it's going to build frustrations and confusion along the way.
Yeah.
So she's going to trying to figure out why is he still talking to other females? Is because he told you and he established in the beginning his intentions on not wanting to be tied down or committed. So this happens a lot with young females. A lot of young women do this, because one thing that they can think that they can do is sleep with a guy and have sex with them and make him submit into a committed relationship, and that does not work out. It does not. And that's something that needs to stop too, with young women thinking that they can make a man tie a man down. Men hold the keys to relationships. And in this case, that's a classic example. This man is telling her, no, I don't find, I'm not trying to be serious with you at all. So therefore, like I said, then a lot of young women, they go and try to still entertain this man. Because they're so fascinated by him. He's attractive and all this other stuff. He got things going for him, and they fantasize one day tying this man down. Now, I'm not saying that one day it may not happen, but right now it ain't. Right. So what do you do? Do you continue to waste years on years on years and wait for this guy and hope and just only hope that he picks you? Out of all the other women that he's dealing with, more than likely men like this are dealing with 3 to 5 other women. But the thing is that he's not able to provide, may not be able to provide for a woman at this point in time, because a man has to gradually build himself up as far as income in order to support a household now in these times. So, like I said, with that being said, I don't think it's ideal for young women to be waiting on young guys until they get their stuff together, because it's not going to be her that makes him change his mind or make him commit. It's going to be him that makes him change his own mind, and he wants to settle down. Now, that's just, the truth of the matter is the situation. So that's one thing that young girls, should be mindful of, and don't try to attempt to do things like this.
Yeah, you certainly can't pressure a man into a relationship.
You can't.
And honestly, I don't think that you should even take it personal, because sometimes I think ultimately, I guess what she's hinting at is it really her? Like, is there something really, that's going on with her? Like, is he not sure about her? Like, because I don't know. I mean, again, it just makes me wonder, because does a guy like meet the right woman per se, and then decide, wow, I think I'm, what they call it, the right time, or no, what is it, right person, wrong time scenario type thing? Like, is it possible to really grow from that? And then when we got this question, and I kind of sat back and had to think, like, if I was in this scenario, would it really be beneficial? And of course, I completely agree with you. It would only be beneficial if intentionally he is honest and not, lying to soften the blow of the rejection. If that's the case and he's just telling you what you need to hear so he can move on, then I certainly wouldn't pursue anything much further than that, and just, do the most healthy thing for you and move on and work, continue to work on yourself. Don't take that too personal. But if he, they do feel a strong connection for each other, but maybe he's afraid of rejection. Like, do guys get, afraid of stepping into the place? Because I am never going to downplay the huge commitment and task it is to step up to being a husband and a father. That is by far, I'm sure, the most daunting thing a man can ever do. That to lay his life on the line, in particular mind, body, spirit, for his family, that is huge. So sometimes maybe that can be intimidating for men. I'm not a man. I'm not a man. But I think of it like that, maybe is that intimidating in a way that
not for a man.
Yeah.
Now you have to separate the boys from the men. Now it can be very intimidating for a boy. And I mean, like, under 25.
And he's probably not ready anyway. Yeah, in that case.
He's not, you're right. He's not financially fit.
Yeah.
He's not mature enough. He's not, I think what a man's brain stops developing, we need the charger for the laptop. A man's brain doesn't stop developing until the age of, I think, 24, 25.
It's over there by the table. Yeah. Our kids was playing with the computer earlier, and we definitely forgot to move the charger back. But you said if I'm not mistaken, you're right. A man's brain stops maturing at like 25, and I think a woman was 7? Oh no, 14. I'm sorry, yeah, 14. Because then I said to myself, well, wow. So if that is the case, I mean, timing for when a man would really be, I guess, ready for a committed relationship would really depend on where he's at in his life. And then I don't think that that's like all the case, because some men, just like women, mature pretty fast. So you are probably going to get your younger guys who would be like little more willing to take on such a large feat, like getting married and having a family and stuff like that at a young age. But of course, we don't always encourage that, because that would be the struggle love. Like we coined kind of the whole idea of a struggle love. And if you have gone back in our videos, we have talked about this before, like the different types of struggle loves that exist. And if you do choose to get into a relationship at a younger age, chances are you're going to go through the different stages of struggle love as you build into your relationship to get it to be, where you both
comfortable.
are, where you want your vision to be.
Right, because and we're talking about, the struggle love is when you're living paycheck to paycheck. You are figuring it out and trying to buy furniture for your home. So you bought a home, and your income is like $55,000 here in the United States.
Well, you're not even there yet.
Right. and then you're just trying to figure out, your budget is tight.
Yeah.
And then one small emergency or mistake is going to blow your budget up. And then you're going to have to figure out what to do to cover for rent. And the struggle love situation is not ideal, because it's so hard in order to keep peace in the household. It's stressful, frustrating, and that's the reason why we don't condone young men getting married early in life, because you have to go through those struggles in order to and you need to prepare yourself for a family, of growing a family, if you're going to get married. So it's not ideal to get involved, young men, and to get involved with women so early in your life.
And I think too, more than ever, it may set the man up in particular for I guess possible heartbreak, or possible, just because you think of like women nowadays,
it hurts your ego and this confidence busting.
And you struggle, and maybe they get women aren't as committed and loyal as I would want them to be now, more than ever, which is why wifeconomics.com exists, because I'm hoping to really help change that dynamic. But nonetheless, anyways, just in general, it's really for the man's protection if he can establish himself and make sure that he is ready to take a woman into his kingdom and get her on your program, especially when you're already got it figured out and her role. I'm so big on a man knowing what he wants his wife to do, and knowing what her role, the commitment that she's supposed to come in and have that laid out for her. Then it shouldn't be much of a question. And of course, we're always big on prenups and stuff like that too. So that's like huge, because then you're really also able to protect not only your family from emergencies, like my husband was saying, when things pop up, and because that's life, but you're also able to then protect yourself, because hey, you have gotten to the place, you've established yourself, you can afford to pay the money for a prenup and get all those things in order. So I think that's just one thing to really think about, though. If you really are wanting, if you find yourself in this type of situation, if you're really wanting to consider it as a woman, it's really going to be a personal choice. And even a man too, because I think of women who be like, oh, I'm young and I'm trying to have fun, or whatever that whole
that's a
idea.
red flag.
Right.
Because you setting yourself up. By all means, do not move in with these type of women,
right?
Who are saying these things like, well, I'm not. I don't want to be. I want to hang out with you and kick it with you, but I don't want a committed relationship.
Yeah.
And then if you yourself as a young man want a committed relationship, you're dooming yourself.
Yeah.
You're going to be setting yourself back financially or whatever, and also with your time. So don't get involved with people like this. Unfortunately, and then for the women, I wanted to say this earlier, for the women too that are young women who are intentional about getting married, you're going to find more success dealing with somebody who's older than you. I mean, anywhere from 5 to 10 years older than you as far as raising a family, instead of dating someone who is your peers. And young women who are like 21, If you want to go as far as 20 to 21, 23-year-old women, you are going to have greater success dating a man who's 30, 33, or what have you, than dating a young man who's 21, 23. As far as building and raising a family, because that young man is still he himself is trying to figure out what a man is, and then also too trying to elevate his career so he has the finances to raise a family.
Yeah, I think a woman in particular, if you are wanting to get married at that age, which I highly recommend anyway, because naturally that's just kind of what nature says. I think in particular, a man needs to pay attention to the woman if she is really mentally prepared to take on that as well. Because it's, again, no easy feat, even as a woman being a wife, but it's a worthy commitment it'll pay off greatly for not only yourself, but your family and your husband and your kids and the community as a whole. So being a wife is, certainly a great aspiration to have. And I wish more and more women thought this way at a younger age. Again, why wifeconomics.com exists. But, it's just super important for the man to make sure that the woman is really ready to take on something like this. So if a woman says that she in particular thinks you're a great guy, but she's not ready for a relationship, I, as a man,
I would run.
I wouldn't even really entertain that too. Because I heard something a long time ago. They said that your woman should love you more than you love her. And I thought that at first time I heard that statement, I was like, wow, what? And as a woman, I was a little taken back from it. And I had to sit back and I had to listen to it. And I'm like, that's a very interesting statement to make, considering, one, the state of society at this moment in time, and how it's so easy for a woman to just get benefits for just up and jumping ship and leaving her family. I do not recommend that, but it is there's another conversation. But just that in general, it gives the woman, if the woman is more enamored with you, then it gives the man a little more security that, she'll want to be a part of your program and want to help you and want to grow with you. But if she's like more so kind of like her second choice or maybe her optional choice, then, you got a little bit more to worry about. So I would certainly, as, just advice from a woman, if a woman is not like head over heels for you, like, or really just like, wow, like, I love this man, I'm ready to do this with you, really question whether or not you want her to be your wife.
Because I can see that could be some struggling involved as far as just day-to-day things. If the woman is not head over heels for you, it could be a lot more selfishness in that relationship. That's all I'm saying. So I think that speaks for itself.
I think men should marry more so, not so much for love, but a woman should, if you really love a man, I think that is the man for you to go for. Kind of, how the whole
that's kind of hard because the man has to go for her too.
Right. So, exactly. No. Yeah. Totally. Yeah.
I mean, she can get down on that knee and propose all she wants.
Don't do that. No. I know what I'm saying.
I don't know. It's very rare that a man accepts a proposal. There's nothing wrong with it, but I'm just saying, like, very rare that a man accepts a public proposal from a woman.
Don't do that. Oh gosh, do not do that. That is a horrible trend, but whatever. Although for a woman, this question came from a woman, so I certainly love to give the advice to the woman and kind of spoke our piece about the men. But in particular, if you're a woman, there are some things that you can consider whether or not, you want to keep this relationship going or not. Then the first one I think would be, can you be friends with this person, right? So if you are not ready for a relationship, or the guy that you're meeting, the guy that you met is not quite ready for a relationship, but you still want to be in this person's life, you really enjoy their company, you really like spending time with each other, really consider if you guys could be friends. Especially if you're young, I am totally a great advocate of being friends with your spouse ahead of time before, it really helps to build that relationship. So it's one thing to consider if, as a woman and the guy's not giving you too many crazy red flags, he's maybe just giving more so the fear of rejection, or more so the, not quite where he wants to be at in order to take on a family. If he's giving you that kind of vibes, and that's really the reason why he's saying, he doesn't want to be in a relationship, I would consider maybe if you could be friends.
I just wanted to put this in here too for that young lady who asked that question. figure out why he doesn't want to be in a relationship.
Right.
Figure
Yeah.
out why he's not currently serious about a relationship. And if it is finances, if it is commitment, if it is
Fear of commitment.
confidence,
Yeah.
or whatever the case may be, and if you think that you can inspire this man to make a change, you need to instill loyalty and trust into this man so that he knows that that you are looking out for his best interest.
Yeah.
That's the best thing that you can currently do, because if all else, you will let him know and indicate to him that, hey, I'm available and I'm here for you. Let him know what your intentions are, that I would love to be in a relationship with you one day. And how do you feel about me as well? Is this something that's possible? Because I'm not for wasting, I don't want women to waste their time on men
Yeah.
who are more than likely to give them the runaround and be totally dishonest with them in the end, and say that,
Right.
you need to understand what the intentions are. That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying, because I'm not for anyone wasting time and being made a fool out of them, waiting on somebody, and then all of a sudden nothing
Yeah.
transpires.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely have to see if there's potential for this to actually be a relationship in the future. And if this guy is being genuinely honest about, hey, maybe it could be something that you guys could do, later on. But yeah, you really got to figure out if he's really being honest. And I wouldn't, beat around the bush with it,
No,
kind of
not at
be
all.
very direct with
Be very
it.
direct.
Yeah, and just come out and ask and try to figure out and of course, if he is not really telling you why, then yeah, he might be more leaning towards just trying to spare your feelings. So, I mean, be honest with yourself too. But if you do decide that, if mutually y'all decide to go ahead and have a casual relationship, a friendship, really, really continue to be honest with yourself and him, vice versa, on your overall feelings as you progress through the relationship. And then also be sure that you're setting boundaries. Be very clear about what you're comfortable with, what you're not comfortable with. Try to come to a complete understanding on maybe physical intimacy, emotional intimacy, all of that stuff. Don't blur the lines. So then that way, if this is going to turn into something great, you guys aren't, hurting feelings or like being dishonest, like my husband was saying. You got, if this is some potential, if it can go somewhere, try to keep it as amicable and as honest and as genuine as possible, because then that is what's going to help flourish the relationship and you guys grow. But if you genuinely do not see this going anywhere, if after a couple months this guy has dwindled his conversation with you, or things don't seem to, like he's not trying to keep this relationship going in some type of way, then yeah, don't waste your time. Yeah.
Right. And then also too, with that being said, go back real quick. It was another point that I wanted to make. Oh, hurt feelings.
Yeah.
If you're casually having sex or having a relationship with this guy, and then all of a sudden, like I said before, you see him texting somebody else, you may be out on town on the town and see him with another woman, and your feelings are hurt, you need to just stop. Whatever you're doing with this guy, stop it. It's not worth people. It's not worth you getting your feelings hurt when you're in a casual, open relationship.
Yeah. If
You
can't
have so
handle it,
much of your feelings involved and invested in this relationship that ultimately is going to doom you. It's going to make you start doing crazy stuff, and just to hold on to this person's time that they're giving you when you deserve better than that. And then also too, there is possibly more than likely someone else out there for you that is willing to spend their life with you if you're a good person. So don't sell yourself short for a good time, or casual dating or what have you.
Or because you're extremely lonely or something
Right.
like that. Yeah.
Talk, you need to have somebody that you need to talk to about these things as well. Because hurt feelings, man, you don't want to, like I said, you don't want to bring yourself down just to have a relationship or a situationship with someone.
Yeah. Now, would you consider that, a thought popped in my head, but kind of slightly off topic, but would you consider that like a moment where a woman should kind of really compete if the guy is like, he's maybe not even quite sure like about her per se, like he's saying, that's the reason why he's not quite ready for committed relationship, because like maybe he's not quite sure about her. Would that be an opportunity for her to then step up and show more, or is it more like not worth it because he's maybe entertaining other women or whatever, anything like that?
That's a good question. From a female's perspective, I can't provide that. I can't provide a female's perspective, but as far as what that's up to her. If she don't have anyone else she's talking to, it's probably in her best interest to actually compete for that man. If she's genuinely, not talking to anyone else and she doesn't want to be with anyone else, and then also if he's giving her the intention that possibly he would marry her, then she may want to try that for a couple of months and see where it lands. But ultimately, she needs to give him an ultimatum and say, "Hey,
let me know."
Yeah, I know you told me this about 3 months ago. I can't do this anymore. So if you're going to want to leave, leave this situation with me to be with her, then by all means go ahead and do that, because I can't spare my feelings anymore for you.
Right.
Because I'm not for people getting played because they're wanting and longing for a relationship or being with someone. But I understand that men hold keys to relationships, and especially for these people who are on dating websites.
Yeah.
Like I said before, the man is more than likely has about 5 or 8 partners that he's entertaining, and a woman possibly has 2 to 3. There's always more people out here for you to talk to and form relationships with. And then, like I said, you also have to hold that ideology is that this person that may be right for you may not be the person that you think of in your head. They may not fit all the boxes of what you want them to look like, their personality or characteristics or what have you. But you really have to get connected to people deeper, on a deeper level, in order to understand where they are at as far as their intentions on marriage.
Yeah. From a woman, now that I've kind of gotten you, what you think about that, I would see where you could take this, especially if you find out his reasonings is maybe like, he doesn't know you too well, or he's hoping to figure out more about you or whatever.
It has to make sense.
Right.
The justification has to make sense on why he's still dating 2 women. It could be, like you said, the timeline. Like, we just met. We're 6 months in. I was already talking to somebody that we've been talking for a year. It's kind of shaky. Yeah. She's still partying, going out, getting drunk all over the place, or what have you. And we just, but we've been in a relationship for a year, and I don't know.
Oh yeah, well, so if a man say something like that, I'm be like, yeah, you step up then, because your competition ain't shit.
You need to weigh your options out and understand like what the justification of why he's doing this.
Right.
He could be looking for someone better than who he's trying to hold on to.
Right. Yeah.
He might come from a place of trauma as well, and that's all he knows is to, trauma bond with people. Yeah. With people who got trauma. But like I said, if a good woman can inspire a man to make a change. So if that good woman comes along and shows that man her wife qualities, that she got it in the bag, this guy will be such a fool. And if he doesn't want her, then yes, he's a fool. And then then he doesn't deserve her.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. That too. That's it. Yeah. I mean, so there are situations where women may have to compete for a man, but you just understand what your situation is, and then hope that he uses some sort of common sense.
Yeah.
And he's a true man in order to make the right decision.
Yeah. Yep. So certainly that would be one other thing for this young lady to consider. Any other women to listen into. I think ultimately, if it does come down to you, really stepping up and showing who you are as a woman, I always naturally encourage that, because truth be told, I think that the universe pays attention when you show who you are, and even in a situation that does not turn out to be exactly the way you want, because what may end up happening is, as immediately as you move on from that one person that you thought was right but ended up not being right, the universe will bring you somebody who is right, because you showed up when you needed to show up to show who you are. And in a way, it's like an audition,
Right.
or
And
like God would test you, be like, how you gonna act, like,
right. I've seen that
plenty of
you
times.
all.
Yeah,
I've
I
seen
have.
this multiple
Yeah,
times.
I have
People.
too. Yeah.
I mean, there is a karmatic thing that happens in relationships. There's a universal law that drops in and say, hey, if that person wasn't right for you, but here's the person that needs to be here with you.
Yeah, all because you were exuding what you needed to, and you got it back.
Because your intentions was in line, and you was a good person, and you did all that you could do for the good of the relationship, and things just didn't work out.
Yeah.
So there is a karmatic reward with the universe when it comes to relationships, especially if you're doing the righteous thing in the relationship. I've witnessed it multiple times.
Yeah. And I really wish women would rest in that understanding too, that God really does protect women when you are vulnerable and who you are, and you allow. For example, I've always been the woman I am today, very feminine, very, I'm just who I am. But because of that, I have always had like little things, like as a young girl driving tired, don't know how to change my tire, but my tire pops off on the interstate. The guy behind me, older guy, decides to stop and help, and then the cop pulls up behind to help me, escort me to the gas station, stuff like that, where like God will send, God will in a way just send the right people to you just because of who you are and how you're just being what you're supposed to, being that good person you're supposed to be, that good woman you're supposed to be, and exuding that. And of course, I'm full advocate on if you can show up and really show a guy like, even if he tells you something like, I'm not quite there yet, but I'm willing to keep being friends, that it might be really worth it to see if you can grow that relationship into something that's, better than where it's at now. Especially again, if you're really feeling a connection and stuff like that. I'm not talking the sexual connection. Don't, physical intimacy, I think, can kind of complicate things in a way, because then your hormones, your emotions and all other stuff gets all jumbled up. But if y'all have really came to this understanding before you guys had sex, and you still have a connection, it might really be worth, seeing where it can go. And then men too, really taking consideration these women who do step up for you, even if you say like, hey, financially, I'm not quite there yet. But if the woman says, well, I could help you do such and such and such, don't be so quick to like refuse that help from a woman. Because also too, that's why God really did put the man and the woman together, because God really could be sending you your help meet, and you're just, not opening up to it. So really be open to the consideration that, hey, this woman could really help you, move you along, and that if you do feel a connection and you do feel this might be the right person, but you don't think you're quite ready, you might be a little readier than you think. So it might be worth trying to explore. Yeah. But anyways, of course, if you do decide to move on, right? What are some things that you can do as a man or a woman who have thought you found the right person, but they turned out not to be the right person? So we talking about they ain't even trying to do this with you. If this is the case, of course, we always say, consider your own subconscious thoughts and beliefs, and just think about how they may be shaping the men and the woman that come into your life. So for example, a woman, if you grew up in a broken home and you never saw a committed relationship, you never saw a man commit to a woman, subconsciously, you may not believe that you deserve that type of commitment. So you might be attracting men who look the part but don't want to commit to you. I mean, it's just really a lot of things in that particular part where we always talk about taking the time to sit down, even if you have to journal it out, just writing out as best as possible a clear understanding of what your subconscious beliefs are surrounding relationships and just men or women in general, and just seeing where you could possibly be contributing to why this keeps happening. Because if this woman says this is happening more than once, I'm a firm believer. If something happens to you more than once, you gotta look at yourself. You gotta turn around and look and see, figure out like what's going on.
Watch that video that we did yesterday.
Yeah.
And also to the message that she's exuding in public.
Yeah.
Whether she's dressing provocatively or whatever the case may be, that has a lot to do with the type of man that's going to be attracted to you.
Yes.
And the places that you go.
Yes, places. Ooh, that's a big one.
Right.
Yeah. Where you meeting these guys or women? Where y'all meeting at?
Right. Exactly. You can consider where you may be meeting men in the wrong places or women in the wrong places. If you're meeting men in bars or clubs, for example, she is more likely to meet men who are looking for casual flings rather than a serious relationship.
Yeah.
This is a thing that I always say is that um, a lot of times, people who go into bars or nightclubs, they are just looking for a good time. So, that's their first mission pretty much, is a good time. They don't go into the bar and nightclub and say, damn, man, there's a lot of wives in here. I'm looking for a wife.
Right,
You don't go to a bar or nightclub looking for a wife. Who does that? You might luck up and that may be the place where you actually do find your wife or husband or what may have you. But that's a very slim chance that you find a wife or a husband in a bar or a nightclub. I mean, wow. And then also too, what I've experienced is that a lot of hurt people are in bars and nightclubs. You see it on cartoons or movies and stuff, that the first place somebody goes after, doing something so hard or stressful is a bar. They're sitting at the bar and telling the bartender all their problems and whatnot. That's the perception that I get when you go to a bar or nightclub. There's a lot of hurt people in there that's willing to hurt other people.
Right.
To be honest with you. So stay away from those places, bars and nightclubs. Those are the wrong places to meet people. But that's one of the biggest places that young people meet and find
those casual flings. Yeah.
That goes absolutely nowhere.
Yeah. And then again, we talked about that, how you add in the physical intimacy and you just think that equals connection. But
right.
Sex does not equal connection. It doesn't. Like, y'all, it's not the same.
Yeah, don't get it confused, because that's what's happening. There's a lot of confusion out here thinking that sex equals love, and it does not.
Yeah.
It's just that's a good time. That's an extension of that bar and that club that you've had that pretty much that relationship came from that place.
Yeah. And that goes again right back to those deep subconscious thoughts. What have you ever thought that, there was some type of connection between sex and love? Do you find yourself going out having sex just to even have that feeling, that connection of being close to somebody? That's important for women who have been traumatized, maybe the lack of a father in a household, or being sexually traumatized and stuff like that. You cannot see the real value in the connection of having sex with the person, the truth in that. So I mean, it's super important that you are considering whether or not you're just taking these relationships that aren't even it's one thing from a guy after having sex with you in a club, in the middle of the night after leaving the club saying, oh, you're great, but I ain't ready for no relationship. And then another one when a guy, y'all have met, y'all have been friends, and he's like, oh, you're a great girl, I just don't know if I'm ready for a relationship. Those are two totally different situations that you really can't get confused. So that's important for this girl to really take in consideration. Where are you meeting these guys at? How is all that working out? Are y'all friends really starting off? Are they really getting to know you? Or is this something where y'all are just having sex and then,
right.
He said something like that.
Oh, yeah. So, you all need to, everyone needs to do their homework and understand what their intentions are first and foremost. And then hold those intentions, hold those intentions true, because that will save you a lot of hurt and confusion in the long run by dealing with people who are not fit for you, who are not marriage fit, since it's Marriage Fit Friday. So understand, that needs to be one of the first questions that you ask on a date. Do you have any intentions on one day getting married?
And or even what are your intentions with me? Like, I would just want to know that, right here.
Well, I mean, he won't know that until a couple of months.
You don't think? I feel again, this is a feeling, not so much a thought, but I'm
that's
just
a lot to prove though. First.
Yeah,
you got to get over the hurdles of your personality. What do you like? What is your day-to-day like? What do you see your future role as far as being a wife? How does that work out? I mean, because I've had guy friends tell me that the woman would tell him that I envision you being at home with the kids and cooking and cleaning. So if a woman told me that on the date, I would tell her, well, this has been nice, so I gotta go, because my intentions don't align there to be a house dad. There's nothing wrong with it. But if you're on the first date or second or third date and you find this type of stuff out, then why are you still dealing with this person? Are you going to try to make them change their mind? Are you gonna, that doesn't work. It doesn't work. If that is their intentions, you can't try to make people change their minds. And more than likely they're gonna have a struggle and with that before they do change their mind.
Yeah.
So if that's a fight that you want to fight, then by all means go ahead and do it. But I ain't the one to waste time.
So it wouldn't be. So even just like asking, do you intend on, are you just intending to have sex, or are you intending to actually have a relationship or something like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, even if they don't know the person per se, but just to figure out,
Yeah, what's your intention on this first date? You need to make sure this person that you're talking to got common sense. They need to say things like, well, for this first date, I'm trying to figure out what you are about. Where do you work? What do you have any children? You need to ask, do you hopefully one day like to get married? Or what type of job do you have? I already said that about work. What is your ideals on retirement? What is your outlook on retirement and things like that? You need to ask real questions as far as if you're trying to fit yourself into their life one day,
right?
And making sure that those intentions a lot. We don't ask enough of those questions on those first couple of dates.
That's true.
It's always about, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite movie? What do you like to eat? Like, what do you do? What's your hobbies and things like that? There's always those soft questions. You need to really dig in after you ask those soft questions. Dig in and ask those hard questions that will basically figure out whether or not you can align with this person or not.
Yeah.
And I think that relationships get built without even asking these type of questions, and then they fall apart because they realize that, oh, hey, irreconcilable differences. We were never for each other from the start because we never asked each other, what role am I playing in the household? Yeah. Are you going to work? Are we both working? Or who's watching the kids? Or who's cooking and cleaning? Are we splitting chores? Or what do you want a housewife? Do you want a house husband? We don't ask none of this stuff. People just emotionally get together and then get married and then try to figure this stuff out as they go along, which ultimately ends in divorce.
Or worse, have sex and kids.
Right. Or you either just have sex and have kids and then try to make a relationship out of that, and then you become a serial baby mama, baby daddy. And that's what happens. That is exactly what happens because we don't have our intentions aligned and we don't give it a second thought. We just go into relationship just, without any compass, just go in there, just do the relationships. You can't just do relationships.
They take time.
They take time and planning, a lot of time and planning.
Yeah. If you don't, what they say, if you don't plan, you plan to
fail. Exactly. Precisely.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
That is it. I mean, it's more work, goodness gracious. We got enough work. You work a 9 to 5, and then like I always believe that too. A relationship is another 9 to 5. That's something that you have to get better at, something that you have to work hard at and get better and make it better and better as you go along.
Especially if you start together young. I think that's super important, that if, for example, say you guys do decide to stay friends and build to something, just know what you're signing up for and know what you're getting into. And as a woman in particular, know that, okay, if this guy isn't quite ready, this may mean that you may have to help him get into place to be that provider that he wants to be. Yep. Yeah, you may have to sign up for those, being, maybe working that crappy job you don't really like just to, help support the family. It is what it is, but it's really about being committed to the idea of y'all coming together and
the
doing
teamwork
together.
The teamwork effort has to be there.
Yeah.
It really does. The man just can't be going to work and then coming home and the house is all messed up, no food, nothing, and he got to come home clean and take care of the kids too.
That
ain't gonna work out. And also too, men, if your wife is a stay-at-home mother, help out when you get off of work. She, of course, if she's cooking and cleaning, then help out with the kids and try to entertain them and make sure that they're not getting on their nerves or what have you. Help out with the dishes and things like that.
No, that's so true.
Try to put up an effort. I mean, a stay-at-home mother works 24 hours, 24/7 until the kids go sleep. So share the duty. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
When you get into
what you're signing up for,
right, you're getting into a relationship so that one, you are providing service to somebody. That is one of the things that you have to understand about marriage and relationship is that it's not selfish. It ain't got nothing to do with you. It got everything to do with both of you.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be of service to
Each
her,
other,
and
yeah.
then she has to be of service to you and willingly do that.
Yeah.
You know, don't have to beg and plead somebody to please take this trash out.
Right.
You know.
Or even please cook some dinner. Like,
right.
Yeah, that
exactly.
It shouldn't really come to that. You guys should really be able to. I think that kind of just goes back to when I was saying about the woman really being head over heels for the guy, because then she's really going to be wanting to get on your team and be on one accord with you, and, you know, teamwork and build and all of that is going to be so much easier than, in way, somebody that's not 100% wanting to be with you.
Right, exactly.
So it's more head button. And I mean, I think maybe the same too for women. If the guy if you're like maybe his third or fourth choice, maybe, you know, consider whether or not this is really worth you even competing that hard, because you weren't even, you know, in the lineup. You're not really that high up on the list. So, I mean, and if the guy ain't got no morals, ethics, and values, then he might cheat and stuff like that. So,
yeah, you just setting yourself up.
Yeah, you just got to know what you're signing up for. And if this is something that you're really wanting to stick it out and keep doing, and really find out if this is the right person before you label them the right person, right? So really define that. That's always important. I always say that, write that down. I think men and women should kind of write down what you think your role is going to be as a wife, or want it to at least look like as a wife, what you kind of vision your husband or your wife's role looking like, and then coming together with the person to see if this would match up. And that's really going to determine whether or not they're the right person for you. Something like them saying, maybe, yeah, you know, it's still up in the air. So you don't quite know if this is the right person. But if, again, you find it worth your effort, put your best foot forward and compete, go for it. You know, it's really a personal choice at that point. So
yeah, but don't be a fool.
Yeah,
you know,
don't be a fool. We always say that. Don't be a fool about it now, though. Yeah, certainly. Yeah.
All right. So, Blueprint family, thank you all for joining us tonight. This is a live show, so at any moment of time, if you all had any comments or questions, we're here to answer those. And also too, if you want to remain anonymous, please submit a question to www.wifeconomics/submit a question.
Yeah.
Wifeconomics.com/submit a question.
Yes.
So with that being said, this is the weekend, so enjoy yourself. Have a safe, wonderful weekend, and we really appreciate you all. Yeah. This is Independence Day weekend too.
Is it?
So,
yeah. Are people off? What day is Independence Day?
Tuesday. It's a Tuesday this year, so you don't get that 3-day weekend or whatever the case may be. You get a 2-day and a day off, and then 2 days, go back to work and the day off, or what have you. But so we made it to the weekend, so you enjoy yourself. Appreciate you all for joining us tonight.
Be safe,
and until next time, peace.
Oh man, you know what? Because of our internet connection thing, again, we're working on that. We don't even got our music tonight.
Oh,
that's all right. Sorry, y'all.
Yeah. All right, you all have a good night.
Peace.